Hi, I'm Orbit Dean, and this is my podcast, Discovering Beauty with Orbit Dean. I am a filmmaker and a writer living in Los Angeles, and I also have cerebral palsy, and I'm a wheelchair user. You can continue the conversation after the podcast with us on my Orbit Dean Substack.
Everywhere, everywhere. You are special and I love you everywhere. You are special everywhere you know it's.
Hey everyone, Michael Orbit Dean here. Welcome to another episode of Discovering Beauty with Orbit Dean. I had a whole plan for this podcast, and sometimes real life gets in the way of what you plan, whether you're podcasting or just living. As I've said before, I'm having to make changes because I'm speaking to you from my bedroom. I am in bed recovering from an injury. And I want to tell you that I was very proud to be able to get out of bed for the first time because I was caught in a bit of a catch 22, which is, catch 22s are part of disabilities, right? So, in order to get help with my injury, I needed to make it to the doctors, which meant getting out of bed, go to the doctors to get help to get out of bed. So, that was my conundrum. It sounds like a Looney Tunes episode or something from Bugs Bunny, but I needed to get out of bed to get help to get out of bed. But after a lot of work, I was able to get into my wheelchair with the help of a transfer board, which I've never used before. So everything in life is new to me. So I used a transfer board. I have great help, and I was able to get into the wheelchair. Woohoo! And made it to the doctor. But I wanted to tell you all about my experience at the doctor's office. And I think we could easily talk about this for hours. I'm not going to talk about this for hours, but I want to open this topic of discussion because it had been, with all the recovery time that I've had to deal with, first having my H. pylori stomach infection and that getting really bad at the beginning of the pandemic, and then I had to have a hernia removed and a partial bowel obstruction repaired, and it took me a long time to recover from that, and now I have this injury, so it's been a while since I've been to the doctors. And I don't think it makes me a nerd to say that I was kind of excited to go, um, because I'm kind of excited to start living my life to the fullest and discovering beauty. I've been discovering beauty of late in my bedroom, unfortunately, which can be a good thing or not so good thing, depending on who you are, I suppose, and whether you have company in your bedroom. um, I have been solo. I've been Han Solo in my bedroom, recording to you guys. That's another topic. But I was very happy to get out and get to the doctor in almost a nerdish way. And when I got to the doctor, um, I was shocked at the experience that I had because I had obviously never met this doctor before. Went in the hospitals, the doctor's office staff couldn't have been nicer to me. They were very sweet. They, filled out the appropriate paperwork, and I made a list of things that I wanted to get done during this meeting, and I thought I was going to come away with a whole bunch of, requests and prescriptions and whatnot, and a path toward feeling better and living my best life. And they said, okay, they made the list, and it was exciting, and I was happy, and everybody's happy, and we sang a song, and it was like a musical. And then they said, wait for the doctor. The doctor will come to you. The doctor came to me and ushered me into his office. And then I don't even know where to begin. It was like this man was an older man. Uh, uh, I don't want to say he could have been crypt keeper, but he could have been the crypt keeper. It was almost like somebody dug him up out of the ground and animated him. He was a little on the older side. Um, I don't think that he ever met somebody like me or somebody with cerebral palsy in a wheelchair before because he started questioning my entire life. He said, "Why do you live at a facility?" And I was saying to him, "No, no, I'm very fortunate to have good people around me and a good family, and I'm able to live independently, and I'm able to do all these things, and I have a job." And he said, "No, you don't have a job. You need to live at a facility." And he seemed to be questioning um, my entire life. And as somebody with a disability, other people will know what I'm talking about when I say, as soon as this man looked at my face, because all of us in the differently abled world or disabled world, or whatever you want to call it, I'm not into labels, but all of us who have dealt with this have had the experience of being able to look into somebody's face and to be able to tell, oh, this person objects to me, to my pure existence as a human being, and doesn't in fact think of me as a human being. So that's where I guess I should start the story, was that he looked at me like that, and I thought to myself, this is not going to go well. But I did not know how badly it was going to go. He started questioning my very existence and the fact that I live alone. And I said I had hurt myself and I had back pain, and he questioned whether or not I had back pain. And I said, I need in-home physical therapy. He said, you won't be able to get it. You won't be able to get it at all. And it seemed as though I went in there as a person with a disability who had my own agenda and my own questions and my own state of mind, and he wasn't having it with me. And he basically said, I'm the boss in this office, not you. You will be quiet. He said, you will be quiet. And he said, the first thing we're gonna do is do X, Y, and Z. And I said, I don't need that. I don't need that. What I'd like to have is this and this and this. I'd like to have a physical therapist. I would like to have X-rays. And he said, I'm the boss. You're not the boss. This is not open for discussion, is what he said. And then he said to me, okay, I'm going to examine you now. And then we're going to talk about the path forward that I've decided for you. And this man did not put gloves on, did not wash his hands. He pulled out these medical instruments that looked like they were from 1962 and they had never been cleaned before. And he checked my eyes, and he pulled out this horrendously looking torture device that looked like it hadn't been cleaned since the 40s. And he said, open your mouth. And I said, sir, first of all, you didn't put gloves on, and you didn't wash your hands, and second of all, I am not putting that item in my mouth by any stretch of the imagination. I said to him, I've asked you, I've told you what I need. I need physical therapy in a home. I need blood work done, and I need an X-ray of my back, please. And there was also some discussion the time that I had my surgery. They were concerned about whether or not I had a small stroke. So I wanted to deal with face paralysis that I was dealing with. And he said, well, that was a year ago. So there's nothing we can do about that now. And he just kept telling me to be quiet and to listen to him and to be quiet. And I said, well, you're not listening to me. And I said, okay, I'm going to just say that this visit is over now, and I'm going to leave. And then he proceeded to say, what's wrong with you? There's something wrong with you. There's something mentally wrong with you. As I was departing the office, this is what I heard from this man. And the frustration was not the way I was treated. I'm used to being treated poorly by people who cannot deal with the fact that I exist and that I'm a human. That comes with the territory when you're a person dealing with a disability of some sort. What I was extremely frustrated by was that I got myself out of the bed, into the wheelchair, and made my way over to this doctor's office, and I left with nothing. Absolutely nothing. So not only was I treated poorly, and I was treated like I didn't matter, and I was told to be quiet, and I was told to shut up, and I was told to just follow his instructions. But I came away from the experience with nothing. When at the beginning of the process, I knew exactly what I wanted to talk to him about, and I had taken notes, and I had discussed it with my family. And I wanted to document this immediately because I wanted to talk about it with you all. And I wondered about, did I do something wrong? Was there something that I did wrong? Is this the way the world is now, that I get treated like this? And I immediately made a complaint to my insurance company, and they were very horrified and apologetic. But I wanted to document this and start a discussion, because this is the first time in many years that I had the excitement of being able to go to a doctor and start to get my issues straightened out. And this was the way that I was treated, like I was not human. And I came away with nothing. And so I just wanted to share this with you all. And I'm trying not to be emotional about it. I'm trying not to be angry. I'm trying to start fresh. And that meant, making an immediate change from that doctor and hopefully finding a better one. So I'm not going to let it deter me and the plans that I want to make. I just am frustrated that it took so long for me to get out of bed and get in my wheelchair so I could go and see this man who treated me badly, and I was left with nothing. Not even a physical therapist, not even x-rays, not even blood work. So that was my day. And then we went to a bakery nearby, and I got tiramisu. So that was the high point of the day, was when I was able to eat some tiramisu. That made up for being treated like I was less than human or not human. So that was a day in my life. Glad that I could share it with you. I want to hear from you. I want to start a discussion on this topic of doctors, or bad doctors, or the healthcare system, and what your experiences are. Thanks for the time. Thanks for sharing this with me. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Everywhere, everywhere. You are special and I love you everywhere.